There are so many problems right now as it relates to Padres baseball. Here's the schedule. They got 7 games in the next 10 days with Arizona. Arizona at one point was in first place in the National League West, and Arizona, since that point in time, has bottomed out. All their pitching's gone away, injuries, fatigue, too many young arms, and they've kind of stopped hitting. They're not the same team they were first couple of months of the season. Friars have to batter Arizona 7 in a row. They need to beat each and every game, the Diamondbacks, because then they get 3 with first place Baltimore. Now they do get 3 with Miami, but then they go away and they got to go to Milwaukee and they got to go to St. Louis, and they play 6 on the road where they haven't played real well. Friars are in a 1-5 skid. They've never recovered from what the Dodgers did to them. And now the stuff spilling out of the clubhouse after a 20-minute closed-door meeting after the back-to-back losses in Seattle. And Juan Soto says, "We quit as a team. We gave up. This is unacceptable," said Manny Machado. Jake Cronenworth said, "We were flat." And of course, the manager in recent weeks has made those statements about motivation, fire, intensity. Dude, we're 110 games into the season. Why are we having this conversation using those phrases about quitting, etc.? It's just really an ugly scene. Fernando Tatis just absolutely looks fatigued. He is in a hole that we've never, ever seen before. Tatis, 7 for 71. Whoa. Just a shade over 100 in like his last 16 games. Swinging a junk out of the strike zone. He looks tired to me. He's just not getting anything accomplished. Manny Machado, struggling again. 0 for 14 stretch. Juan Soto, 4 for 20 black hole. And the guys that A.J. Preller traded for, Garrett Cooper, Hee-Seop Choi, 1 for 17. 1 for 17 since the trades from Pittsburgh and Miami. And Scott Barlow, who came from Kansas City, ERA 13.50. And I'll tell you, I went back and did some checking. We're still offended by how this whole Dodger series ended. Do you know the Fab Four of the Padres in this Dodger series, the 4-game series they had? The Fab Four hit 188.
Oh, jeez.
Do you know this season against the Dodgers, all the games they've played, they're 2-8. Fab Four collective batting average, 228.
Unbelievable.
The Dodgers Fab Four, you can name any one of those big bats, starting with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. In this series, they hit 327 to the Padres 188.
Unbelievable.
And for the 10 games they've played this season, the Dodgers Fab Four hitting 290. Just awful. And the other thing, I look back, did some digging around here on the trade deadline transactions. And the Padres gave up on Ryan Weathers and finally moved him to Miami in the Garrett Cooper trade. But they also traded 4 minor leaguers, including the young left-hander Jackson Wolf, who had 1 start in San Diego, did very well. Do you know the 4 young players that he dealt away? He gave $1.4 million in bonus money to those 4 guys, starting with Jackson Wolf and a couple of the others. $1.4 million, and gave up on them to go get guys hitting 1 for 17 and go get a reliever, 13.50 ERA. Money is no object. It's not his money, but it's obvious to me, overpays, sign these guys above the slot after he drafts them, or signs the international free agents above the slots. Don't get your return on the investment because you're shipping the guys out in all these different transactions. That's $1.4 million gone with a snap of the fingers at the trade deadline. And these kids were doing well in the minor leagues. Jackson Wolf had the 1 really nice start. I don't know, what kind of business model is this? Is this the right way to conduct business? I know it's not my money. It's not your money. It's not season ticket holders' money. Well, in kind of a degree it is. So you got all that. And then, by the way, you got the letter in the mail. Season ticket prices are going up 10 to 15%. 3rd year in a row. They had raised them 18%, 20%, now 10 to 15%. Wow. And you can say it's Peter Seidler's money, but in essence, you're paying for Matt Carpenter's contract.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
And Drew Pomerantz's contract, and on and on and on and on. Okay, so I've given you a lot to talk about. The more I dug into this, I thought, oh, this is terrible. So your response to another closed clubhouse meeting, your response to what's happened to El Nino and La Salsa and Soto, and what's happened to the newcomers, and
Everything else.
my Fab Four versus your Fab Four.
uh,
I'm
the-
sorry to ruin your day right out of the gate,
it's
but
just a train wreck. You watched that game last night, and the Padres run into bad luck, but they also, like you say, they look flat, they look fatigued. And I go back to Manny Machado, and whenever he's interviewed in the clubhouse, he has this sort of persona of, "Hey, we're pros. We're grinding. We're working every day. We're going to get through this," and it's the same tired line. And I sometimes wonder if that's like removing the urgency from the team. Granted, maybe behind closed doors. Well, I'm sure it's behind closed doors. It's a different vibe, but it seems like we're professionals. We're getting paid, and we're doing our best. But it's baseball.
you're
This seems
50,
weak.
you're 55 and 60. You are way back in what is the last throes of trying to qualify for the last wild card spot. It's hard to believe that a team with this much talent, these guys making this kind of money, that great Gold Glove defense, quality starting pitcher, best closer in the game, and you're 55 and 60, and the only thing out of your mouth is, we're grinding, everything's okay, we still got games to play. Schedule's against you right now.
Yeah,
And I did not bring up what happened September 1st. You look at the schedule starting in September 1st.
okay.
They're not going to win. Not
No.
when they're playing who they're playing, starting September 1st. But that's another topic for another day because, geez, we got all this stuff to talk
A
about.
ton. Yeah. I mean, I just want to comment on Preller. That deal, you see, they sent him over to Weathers to Miami, and he got lit up, in his first outing. And yeah, he's trading a lot of those prospects, but he keeps replenishing the farm. Now, granted, we talked about how he's given away the farm twice. Now we're working on the third time, but that's kind of his currency on how he makes those deals. So he doesn't have to give up too many of the, let's just say, prime talent, if you want to call them prime talent, at the MLB level.
Well, you can sign anybody. My golden retriever could sign a bunch of kids for the farm system, overpay all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been his methodology since he came in the front door. Overpays the slot system for draft picks, goes abroad, overpays in the Pacific Rim or in Mexico or in Cuba, and then he trades a whole pile of these guys away. This is his team. His team is 55 and 60. It's staggering.
But when he signed all these guys and made all these trades to get Machado and Soto, Musgrove, Darvish, I mean, we were all praising, we were kissing his feet, AJ Preller, and these guys are just laying a turd. And, they need to find that spark, that energy, that will. Because when Soto says, we gave up, and Cronenberg says, we're flat. Well, yeah, I mean, it's very obvious. You could see it when you're watching the game. These guys got to turn it around.
Well, they can right now, because they got 7 in a row against the team that didn't belong in first place, and it's all kind of caught up to them. Hey, join us on Fans Forum. Just tell us what you think about the state of the Padres mentally, emotionally, physically, and from a leadership standpoint. Okay, we go from that